Hi everybody. So this is me apologizing because I have not made a video in a very, very long time. I went to the dentist last Monday and I was in pain and I have not made a video since. So I've decided to just do a large video of all the days I missed. And you won't hear me talking the whole time about my life. I'll just be reading a Reddit story or play some music while I do each day. Hi guys, so the story I decided to read from Reddit is a story from Best of Reddit Updates, and just for a clue or just to let you guys know, this story they state was posted in different posts under different subheadings, but all the titles were the same. So the person who compiled the stories together just said they seem like they're the same story even though they were posted in different subreddits. So the first one was posted in May 1st, 2021, and it was under r/relationship advice. The title is, I just found my ex-wife is feeding my kids turpentine. So this says, I found this out like I do most things about life with their mother through the kids. Male 7, female 5, as communication has been pretty much non-existent between the ex and I since our split 6 years ago. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, no, I don't ever press my kids for information. I work very hard to establish an uninhibited, open, no topic is off limits type of relationship with my kids. Even though I've only got them every other weekend, I want them to feel comfortable enough to fully express themselves and speak their mind freely around me. This has led to several discoveries about certain aspects of their life that their mother has asked them not to reveal to me, something I am very much against. I don't believe any child should have to hold secrets between their parents. It isn't their responsibility and it's something I would never ask of them. That being said, they've come out with nuggets of wisdom such as we shouldn't be drinking tap water because the government puts chemicals in there that makes us docile and obedient. Santa isn't real, but Jesus is, and the Bible is 100% fact. Controversial topic, I understand. And most recently that the government says turpentine is poisonous, but is actually good for you. What the H do I do here? If I speak to my ex about this or even let slip that I know it's going on, she isn't going to have an honest conversation about it with me, and I fear that she'll just press the kids even harder to keep things from me. I don't want their heads filled with this rubbish, but I feel so powerless to stop this. All I can do is try to teach them to think critically, but that is only going to be so effective when they're getting told all this nonsense is fact. Help. So this is the first edit. It says, I spoke to my children about it and recorded the conversation to ensure there was no confusion about what was being said. They were being fed a spoonful of turpentine every day by their Nana for the past 4 weeks while they were all away on holidays. But there is zero chance my ex wasn't aware this was happening. Definitely turpentine, 100% pure gum turpentine. My boy said the bottle red. The distilled stuff, he said. They even started singing that Mary Poppins song, A Spoonful of Sugar Helps the Turpentine Go Down. Feel like I'm in an alternate timeline. Thank you everyone for being so helpful. I appreciate it so much. This is the second edit. Talk screen won't be happening until we get a referral. Poisons Hotline has no literature on hand for chronic exposure to turpentine, let alone in children. But the kids don't seem symptomatic. We will be visiting their GP or the hospital first thing tomorrow for a full checkup, and a report will be made separately to that of the medical mandated reporter. I don't really see a scenario playing out where CPS isn't getting involved here, and I can't not have my kids medically assessed knowing that this has been going on. Currently preparing for the ish storm that's bound to ensue. So these are some comments. The first comment says, sorry, but you found out your ex-wife is poisoning your kids and your response is to get on Reddit instead of taking your kids to the hospital and contacting authorities. Hopefully this is as fake as it seems. And this is from OP, and it says, ex-wife, the kids seem asymptomatic. Had I not been made aware of this, I probably would have never known anything was up. That being said, my mother is a nurse and we did have the kids looked at. Yes, I came to Reddit as one source among several for guidance because I had no effing clue what to do about this or even what my options were. I try not to act rash or emotionally impulsive when it comes to my children. I try to weigh up my options. My father has a muddy history, so even though he's not the same person he was 15 years ago, a CPS investigation has potential to forcefully forcefully alienate my children from their grandparents. That's just one example of what factors into this. I wish this were fake. This is another user that says, what the F? Asymptomatic dude, they told you she's poisoning them. You should have immediately taken them to the hospital, regardless of whether you can see symptoms. I don't care if your mom is a nurse. She can't run tests by looking at them. Anyway, I am still not convinced this is real. But if it is, what you just said about your dad makes this all more confusing and sketchy. Take your kids to the hospital and seek legal help. Then this is a response to that. It says, we spoke to the hospital man. We called ahead. There was literally nothing they were prepared to do for us other than what we have done already. They wouldn't run tests unless the kids were exhibiting symptoms or they had a referral, even after telling them what was going on. The nurse was very apologetic, but it is what it is. Best they could offer was a place 2 hours away that wouldn't open until tomorrow anyway. I know what you're saying, but it just isn't that simple. And yeah, I understand that seems sketchy. I guess it kind of is. There is no legal help I could possibly get on a Sunday evening, and no way we could move things forward without rushing into it. We are going through everything tomorrow properly and thoughtfully. And someone else just said, Jesus Christ, record some evidence. Send it to the cops and have your ex in prison for child endangerment at the very least. This type of potato is going to start feeding them effing bleach or urine sooner or later. Not even joking. She is a dangerous level of stupid that your kids should not be forced to suffer. It is your responsibility to take action to protect them from her. Their response was, unfortunately, the only evidence I have is a secondhand verbal account of the testimony of a 7-year-old boy. He told my mother, his grandmother, who was a career nurse, who promptly told me what was going on. She's 50 shades deep into crazy conspiracy theories herself, and even she was mortified upon hearing this. My ex won't say or admit to anything, and I don't trust her to be honest if her custody arrangement is on the line. It's all just conjecture at this point. And I think we're going to read 2 more comments before we get to the next update. This says, hire a private eye. Get evidence. It's your responsibility as a parent to protect your children. You can't be so passive. Do something. And the OP responds, it is my responsibility. I have zero intention of being passive about this. I just see my current options hitting a lot of dead ends. That's why I've come here. If I'm going to go to the legal route, I want to move it through clean, calculated, no room for error. He said, she said, BS won't even get me a seat in the courtroom. Private investigator could be something worth following up, though. Thank you. And this one says, those poor kids, good idea picking this idiot to mate with. They respond, yeah, I've got no good defense for that. Changed a lot after she got her ring, though. There's a reason I'm not still with her. All right, so this is the update, which came the next day, which was May 2nd, 2021. And it's on r/legal advice. And then there's r/legal. I think it's Regal. I think this is Australia, possibly. So this is what's just said. It's the same post, but they're asking questions this time. So it said, I just found out through my kids that my ex-wife has been feeding them turpentine mixed with sugar or honey as a way to worm them, and also been using it topically to treat mosquito bites. There are 7 male and 5 female. Reading up on what it does if you ingest it, because who the H would ever think it's a good idea to drink paint thinner or as medicine? It can be devastating and really doesn't take a whole lot to mess you up, especially if you're a child. Think 1 tablespoon could potentially be enough to change your life kinda messed up. I don't think talking to the ex is going to yield any results, and realistically, I don't even expect her to be honest about it anyway. My only evidence so far is the secondhand account of the testimony of a 7-year-old boy. He told my mom, his grandmother, and she went and told me. Do I have legal options here? Should I be collecting evidence? And if so, what kind? I honestly don't know what to do. I can't have my kids being fed literal poison. And to top it off, they were saying, yeah, the government tells us it's poison, but it's actually good for you. This isn't the first time they've come out with little nuggets of conspiracy soap wisdom like this. Tap water makes you docile and obedient sort of stuff, but this one is truly terrifying. They were meant to go back to their mother today, but I've got them in my care until next weekend due to an undisclosed emergency that my ex sprung on me about an hour ago. Never mind that I'm starting a new job tomorrow and wasn't prepared anyway to look after them for a week with no notice. But please, if anyone here can give me a few tips or pointers, I would be so grateful. I'm stressing pretty bad about this. I don't know what to do. Edit, I'm located in Victoria, Australia, if that makes any difference to the situation. So this one, it seems like the same person posting r/axdocs, and they titled it, yes, I just found out my ex-wife has been feeding my kids turpentine. And it says, so for the past 4 weeks or so, my kids, 7 male and 5 female, have been ingesting a spoonful of turpentine every day and been using it topically to treat mosquito bites. 100% gum turpentine. My boys said the bottle red. Paint thinner. I've questioned them about it, and I have zero doubt this was happening. Now I've wanted to book it in for a tox screen and blood work, but would have to travel 2 hours to get it done. The only other option being police and CPS, both unfavorable options, or seeking a GP. What I am in here for. What damage would chronic ingestion of turpentine cause a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old child? What other things I should look out for? What terps even show up in the screen in such small volumes? And if there's anyone here from Victoria, Australia, would a GP be able to help initiate a tox screen? And so this one was put in r/toxicology, but the contents of it were deleted when they were not able to be recovered. But someone responded, I guess, to the original post in r/toxicology and said, I'm sorry to hear this is happening. Usually we wouldn't allow medical advice requests, but this is an exception. Turpentine has been touted as an alternative medicine cure-all, as has been amplified by disinformation on the internet. There's more information to be found here on what the community looks like here, and they gave them a link. Please seek immediate medical assistance from a trained healthcare professional and take any discussion surrounding medical advice on here with an enormous pinch of salt. That said, this subject is very important to discuss and could help others who may have come across similar cases. And this is their response. My apologies. I will admit I didn't carefully look through the rules of this sub before posting. I did stumble across this particular school of thought this evening, unfortunately, whilst researching effects of turpentine ingestion. It saddens me to learn of its existence, but honestly, I'm not as surprised nor shocked as I feel I should be. Understandably, advice from strangers on the internet will never be a credible substitute for a trained professional opinion. Sorry, guys, but I do appreciate your concern and the willingness of those who help. Thank you. So this is the final update. This happened, it was posted in r/axdocs on May 3rd, 2021. So 2 days after the original post. And it says, update on the situation. The kids have been medically assessed. They've had blood work done, testing for liver and kidney function, as well as any other abnormalities, and have undergone some minor testing. Thankfully, everything has come back clear, and they seem to be happy and in good health, apart from my daughter being a little upset about being jabbed with needles. There were, however, some very concerning statements made by my kids to the doctor who screened them, both with and without any family present. Everything said has been transcribed and documented in their discharge papers. CPS has since been informed of the situation. The situation has been reported to the police, and a medical release statement has been filed with them. They told me they will remain in contact with CPS and wait for their lead. The kids are legally staying within the care of myself and my family until further notice from child services. At this point in time, I've had no contact with my ex since this all came about. I have a tip on a great family law legal representative whom I will contact in the very near future to discuss my steps moving forward and about making a claim for primary custodial care. My family fully supports this decision, and we are all still incredibly shocked about this whole scenario. I am on the verge of having an absolute meltdown, but things actually seem okay for now. My kids are safe. I couldn't be more grateful for how supportive my family and friends have been over the last couple of days. Thank you to everyone who gave me their advice and support. I appreciate every one of you. Please do not feed your children turpentine. And the person who put this whole post together, they went through all that. They said, this is just a reminder that I am not OP. Please do not feed your children turpentine. That was the last thing they posted. And I'll read a couple comments. It says, I'm so happy for OP's kids. My mom, abusive, in parentheses, no longer in my life, is this type. A year or two ago, I had to beg her in tears to not drink turpentine because I was so terrified for her. I'm very glad to be far away from the maniacal-ish, and I'm very, very glad OP's kids were some of the lucky ones who CPS actually pulls them from these kinds of homes. And that was one comment. We're going to go to the next one. It says, turpentine, the stuff that has several big warning statements, causes damage to organs through prolonged or repeated exposure, flammable liquid and vapor, may be fatal if swallowed and enters airways, harmful if inhaled. Who would give that to their kids? Yeah, who would? This one says, this turpentine conspiracy killed my father and nearly killed my mom. Heart attacks, both of them. After a few months of having turpentine daily, it's horrific someone would do this to their kids. I'm glad the 7-year-old knew to tell other trusted adults about this, and that OP reacted to it swiftly, so most definitely saving his kids' lives. Let's see. Let's read like 3 more comments and then we'll end this. One says, I'm shocked that people are even able to put it in their mouth. Just the smell alone is terrible. I can't imagine tasting it, then swallowing it. And then someone responded to that, just said, that's what the sugar is for. This one says, I love that people yelling the loudest about how they'll never let the kids get the vaccine and put that poison in their body, and then goes and puts literal poison in their children. What the F? This one says, how the F did I not hear about the turpentine conspiracy? Just a question. And we'll end with this one. I have a now adult friend whose dad would give her some colloidal, I don't know if that's how you say it, silver in a glass of water. Fortunately, he only has his kids 2 weekends a month. She says it had almost no flavor, but it was like water, but somehow bad tasting. She just told us this casually as we were eating pizza. And someone responded and said, my mom used to do this to me. I actually don't even remember the rationale of when I would have to take it, but the taste is so distinct but hard to describe. Like ultra distilled water. It also tasted cold to me, even when it was room temperature. I think she still has some in her cabinet. Someone responded, it was a cold, sharp, metallic taste. I, in return, became a nurse because medicine is important. All right. So, yeah. So, that is the story, guys. What do you think of this story? Sorry, once again, for waiting so long to put these videos together. When I say I was in pain, and, you know, tooth pain is no joke. So, I was in pain. So, I'm sorry, guys. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.